Only one place to begin, and that is with the enormous news from the world of college football that has been discussion everywhere in America today. The University of Michigan has fired its football coach, Sherrone Moore, for what the school said was, quote, an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Hours after his firing, he was taken into custody by police as a suspect in an alleged assault. Those are the facts as we know them at this hour. Adam Schefter, you've been a part of the reporting of this story since it began developing late yesterday afternoon. Take as much time as you need. What does everyone need to know?
Well, the school gathered together the coaches yesterday afternoon, the players, to inform them of Sherrone Moore's firing. The school fired him for cause. And obviously there are so many layers to this that are sad, troubling, disconcerting, and cautionary. And essentially after his firing, he wound up being detained by police. He spent the night in Washtenaw County Jail. He's being accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Now, if we go back, there had been lots of whispers and speculation about various gossipy, salacious items with the school here dating back weeks. And I believe the school looked into these situations and found no evidence whatsoever of any wrongdoing. But if the school is going to take a step on Wednesday that it did and announce that it is firing Sherrone Moore for cause and saying he had an inappropriate relationship with a staffer, then clearly something this week developed that the school felt like it had irrefutable evidence and was left no other choice. And so now you are in a situation where Michigan fires the first black head coach in school's history, somebody that helped that school win a national championship, a man who just had another child this summer. He's married, has 3 daughters, and this family obviously is going to be subjected to things now you couldn't even imagine. This man's life, professionally, personally, was upended yesterday. It's a sad story in so many ways, and we are going to continue to learn more and more about what led up to this and what transpired after he was fired for cause.
To be clear, if you are a person with access to the internet, you are aware that there are any number of speculatory items out there. We will share none of them on a show like this. And obviously, if there are any further developments as far as the legal situation involving Sherrone Moore, we will develop those or share those with you immediately. In the meantime, this is a sports show, and this is an enormous sports story. The University of Michigan football program is one of the biggest athletic brands in America, and suddenly it has a vacancy at the very most important position at what is an extremely inopportune time on the sports calendar in college football. So we segue to that, Schefter. What do we know about Michigan's search for a new head coach?
Well, let's say this, that the school has been through this a few times in recent years because there always was the speculation that Jim Harbaugh could and would leave, and eventually he did leave. So they always have been looking at candidates in the event that it was faced with something like this. It went through the situation 2 years ago when it wound up promoting and hiring Sherrone Moore to become its head coach. For now, the school is going with Biff Poggi as its interim head coach. He will lead the school during its bowl game. That will give the school time to essentially do its diligence on the list of candidates that are out there. And obviously, it's been a tumultuous season in the college football world. There are going to be more names that are connected to this job. But Michigan is a first-rate school. It's one of the storied jobs in all of sports. There are going to be a lot of people, some surprising names, that are interested in this job. And I do believe that Michigan will be able to find a great head coach. But this is going to be a little bit of a process with Biff Poggi holding down the fort until then.
And it's safe to assume that we will hear names not only from the world of college football, but potentially from the National Football League as well.
Oh, I think that that's absolutely possible. Just like you did with some of these other openings.
Yep.
There were coaches that were going to be interviewed, did interview, and it'll happen again with Michigan.
Okay, outstanding work, Schefter. Let's come back here and bring the rest of the group in. We have our usual Thursday lineup here, including the Bussin' Boys, who are down there. Taylor and Will and Hawk is here, and Dan Orlovsky is here. And we will deal in all of this, again, to sort of try and give you some perspective on the calendar. They just had National Signing Day a week and a half ago, so all of these high school kids have just committed. Michigan has a very highly rated class. They're going to now have to try and figure out a way to keep those kids there. The transfer portal opens in just a few weeks, and so obviously that becomes a question mark, and these are the things they have to deal with while dealing with all the rest of this. Taylor Lewan is one of the great players in Michigan history, and obviously you remain very close to the program. What are your thoughts on the situation as we wake up this morning?
I mean, obviously, all the allegations, things that are taking place, we're not going to comment on that, but my heart goes out to the people that are affected and the players that are in that building who no longer have a head coach, with how they did just 24 hours ago. For the University of Michigan.
As you say that, it does occur to me, I'm sorry to cut you off, because I know that was our plan, was just to, but can you try and for a moment imagine being a player on that team right now and you waking up this morning? If this was you once upon a time, I don't know, 15 years ago, whatever the case may have been, can you try and put yourself into the mindset of what a college player wakes up thinking on a morning like this?
Well, I mean, the first thing you're going to see is obviously the head coach has been fired, then all the rumors and stuff going on. So, like everything, the group chats are going to fire up. Guys are going to have a speculation of what was going on, how long all this stuff has been going on. So they're going to do the same thing that kind of all of us on the internet are doing today. And then it's an emergency team meeting, whether that's the AD that's doing that, if it's Biff Poggi, and kind of giving everybody the lay of the land. But if you're the players and you're a leader in that room, it's about keeping everybody together, because what Michigan prides themselves on is winning championships and developing players. And if they can keep everybody in-house, because they have the guys to do that, they have the recruiting class to do that, they have everything there. And now we're going into the transfer portal, which opens up January 2nd. It is so imperative that Michigan gets the right guy in as fast as possible, because if they take longer than January 2nd, Michigan is dangerously close to going through what Penn State has gone through for their coaching process.
It's extremely well said. So all of that said, who do you believe should be the next coach at Michigan?
Well, I think that the first name that's going to come up a lot is going to be Kalen DeBoer. I know he's a Midwest guy, Midwest ties. He's got a proven winning track record. Jesse Minter is another name that's going to come up in the NFL, whether he's extremely interested in that or not, whether he wants to stay in the NFL or go to college. I think Michigan fans would really like to have him. Kenny Dillingham, a guy that's at Arizona State University. Last year took his team to the playoff with a group of guys that were probably less talented than the rest of the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. He's a winning head coach. And then Matt Campbell is probably the last name on my list right there, not in any specific order. But I would look to Matt Campbell, and the way I hear Josh Pate, who is the future commissioner of college football, Matt Campbell is a guy I would look how dry that ink is on that contract. Because if you look at Penn State and how they went across their whole coaching search, they hit about 7, 8, 9, 10 people before they got to Matt Campbell. And if I'm Matt and I feel some type of way about Penn State and their process, and if I'm one of Michigan's top 3 calls, I'm listening to that call.
Dan, let me get Dan in. We're going to have a problem with Will's mic. Would you hand him that, please? Dan,
Will's getting custom.
Who would be, what are your thoughts on the Michigan coaching job?
Kalen DeBoer would be the only call. If Kalen DeBoer has any interest, it would be the only call that I would make. Right now,
in a related story, Kalen DeBoer is playing a college football playoff game in a week and a half, right?
Correct. Right now, Michigan doesn't even matter, though. Like, if we're being honest about where Michigan matters, 2 years ago, they won the national title. Ohio State's far superior to them right now.
Beat them last year.
Indiana, far superior to them right now.
I beat them too.
Oregon, far superior to them right now. And they got head coaches that are guys at the very top. If you're Michigan, are you just going to go get someone? Because I know you mentioned the point, like the timing should not matter to Michigan. You're Michigan. Getting the right name, getting the right guy that can get you back to the level, that gets you on that even playing field with those 3 other coaches, that's the challenge. I like Kenny Dillingham. I totally agree with that being like an option eventually. But if Kalen DeBoer, if you call DeBoer and you think that there's any form of interest mutually, you figure out a way to make that happen, and the answer is never no when it comes back from him. You don't allow that to happen.
I agree with Kalen DeBoer. I think he's done it at every level, and that's important when you're looking for a new college football head coach in this landscape. The reason why I will push you on that being the only name and some of those other programs you talked about is because now more than ever, it's less about the X's and the O's and more about the Jimmies and the Joes.
100%.
And a home run is the guy that can do both. So for Michigan, a couple of things are at play here, and this is why you have to move fast. All the guys that you just signed, they get an automatic release from their letters of intent from early signing day. So now they're open sesame to every program to come in.
Because of the move
because of the
head
coaching change.
Okay.
They automatically release their national letter of intent, so everyone's going to be at them trying to sign them. Number 2, the players on that roster, they get